great. All go, no wait. Champion, no debate. First place, go play. Humble.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Humble Greatness in the building. And I have somebody who I absolutely love in the building as well. So check this out. I'm with my boy.
Yo, it's your boy. I am Bakari Washington.
And we have Mr. Thad Swift from Swift Productions.
Let's give him a round of applause.
In the building. I love my boy Thad, man. I love my boy Thad. So quick story before we get Thad talking. First time I met Thad was I had booked him for a video. I didn't even know who I was booking. I just saw his work because at the time he was doing weddings.
It was like, what, 2015?
Yeah, I think somewhere in there.
2015, 2016.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I book him and he's like, okay, what's the location? So we meet at the location and I'll never forget this kid hopping out of this car, right?
The white Honda Civic.
The white Honda Civic,
Yeah,
right?
98 Honda Civic.
And I'm thinking like, yo, like, where's the camera guy at? Like, this must be like his crew that's with him.
Right.
And he's like, no, I'm Thad. And Thad's what, like 16, 17, I think?
Yeah, I was either 16 or 17. I was probably 17, but
Yeah.
it depends on what time of the year it was. But
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this high school kid hops out of this older Honda and shoots like the most fire video of all time. And that's how I met Thad. So now let's fast forward because you've been out to LA. You know what I'm saying? You're shooting for big artists.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all of that. So let's talk about just how did you start your video career?
Yeah. So it was kind of it was like an accidental thing. Like I feel like a lot of people kind of end up in that boat where it wasn't like I was like, yo, I'm going to go start a video business. Like I didn't like have a plan of it.
Yeah.
I was in high school and I was doing videos with my friends. Like if you ever heard of like the parkour and free running stuff, like the people,
Yeah.
you know, like Ninja Warrior stuff,
Right.
like people doing flips.
Yep.
Me and all my friends did that. And basically I was the guy who would like film everybody. And then at the time, I think I was dealing with some like knee injury or something that I'm still dealing with to this day. And but shout out knee injuries because the reason I started like filming and taking it super seriously is I'm hanging out with my friends, but I can't do anything because of my knees. So and then I started taking filming more seriously. I started taking editing more seriously, and from there I was like I'm like weird, like where I obsess over things. Like if I get into something, I like tunnel vision in on it and really put my head into it. So I started getting kind of good at it, and I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was making videos for the actual stuff we were doing, and not necessarily making videos to make videos, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So
okay.
There was the goal was not to make videos. It was stuff with the like free running kind of community, and that was like the normal thing. Everyone in the community did that.
Wow.
It was like, you know how skateboarding, like
Yeah.
they're the same way.
Right.
It's exactly the same thing. Everybody just films each other.
Right.
Okay.
So I remember I went to a like a big like event they had in Colorado. They were like doing like a breast cancer like fundraiser kind of thing, and there was a film festival in it. And we submitted our video we did with me and like Clyde and a few of my friends, and I won like best cinematography and like a few other things. And I was like, yo, maybe I'm kind of good at this. Like, I didn't really know. Like I was just like, yo, like I don't know.
So hold on. You basically won first place by accident.
Well, I technically won second place.
Okay.
I won best cinematography. The first place winner was a person who literally like owned a production company already.
they've
It
been
was
doing
like
this
way up
forever.
in there, and they was like a pilot. It wasn't even like a parkour video. It actually had nothing to do with it. In my opinion, I feel like that was a little cheap, but like it is what it is. Yeah. So I mean, like I won best cinematography, which for me meant more than winning the actual film festival because like, you know, I was the one who was filming it. So
Absolutely.
but yeah, and I really and I learned everything I'd learned just from watching YouTube videos and just trying stuff out.
Wow.
I mean, the video that won specifically, I barely even knew how to use camera settings. Like in all reality, I was shooting manual from the get-go because I watched all these videos on how to run a camera. Like
Yeah.
I was watching all of this stuff before I got my camera. And that's a whole other story in itself. Long story short, I was using a GoPro for a long time. That was my first like camera.
Yeah.
And then I'd saved up because I was working for my dad's lawn irrigation company.
Okay.
He has a little side business, and so I was digging holes out in the summer, making like $8 an hour, and saved up for 2 summers, and then bought the Sony NEX6 that I had, and that was the first actual camera.
That was the first actual camera.
Yeah. And
Okay, because I thought for you it was the Sony 6300.
that was like my third camera.
Oh,
I
wow.
bought like
Okay.
3 cameras in the first like few months because when I started, I was like a big gearhead, like a lot of people are who get into film. Like it's just the thing to do. I think within the first few months, I bought an A6000, which was like my second camera, and I was like, one, I just needed another camera, like because of the stuff we were shooting. Yeah. But two, I was like, oh, I'm gonna upgrade real quick because my friend had it, and it was just like the nicer version of the NEX6.
Correct.
But anyway, I'm kind of jumping around here, but I basically then started doing. I was doing all the parkour videos and stuff, and kind of was enjoying that. And then I don't even remember exactly what prompted me to like get into music videos, but the music video is the first thing I ever did as far as like a paid.
So who was your first artist?
So it was actually a band. So
a band for your first video? Oh wow.
Which is honestly dope. Like more work to be honest, but at the same time they can usually pay more because there's 5 of them. But
absolutely.
Like, I was so shout out to Nathan Tackett. His band Last Great Summer. I was in college at the time. Like I was going to college while I was in high school, and I was literally just asking people. Like I remember, I just asked a billion people, like, "Hey, do you know any bands? Like, do you know any artists? Do you know anyone I could shoot for? Like, I'm just trying to do something. Like, I didn't really know what that looked like, and then a friend of mine, Claire, had recommended me to them, and I shot him a message and set up a meeting, and I was pretty like upfront about the fact that I'm like, hey, I've never done this before, but like I want to make something like, and I had some, I had work, I had a portfolio, other stuff I did, but it wasn't a music video. And then I basically I did some photo shoot at like one of their concerts, like that was my first paid job, and this isn't any cap on them because they didn't know either, but I think I got paid like $40, and I spent more money driving to Lawrence I spent more money on gas than I did get paid, and that was like a lesson on like, oh, like you need to factor these things in. I didn't know.
You didn't know.
I mean, but it felt cool though because I was getting paid to use my camera, and like for me that was awesome. So then we did our first music video. And it was actually pretty elaborate. Like it was like we had like 2 days of shooting and like all that. It was pretty elaborate.
Oh, wow.
It was big. They did a lot of the planning on it. I didn't like, I helped, but they really took charge on that. And I kind of like, at the end of it was just like, okay, it's like, how much do you want? And I'm like, how much what? Like I didn't like understand you could like make money doing this stuff. Like it wasn't my prime goal. Like I just wanted to make a music video. I just wanted to do something cool. And at that point I was like, okay, like I can charge money for this stuff. And then the next video I was like, all right, I'm going to tack on $100 to the next person I work with and just kind of try to do that. And that stopped pretty quickly because we're in Wichita and I've learned some lessons, but
understood.
And then my second music video, who I won't be naming him because he paid me the first half and then never paid me the second half.
No.
There's another good lesson, in not getting, not handling business the right way.
Hold on, I got to play that button for that one.
Yeah.
Understood.
And like that was what I bought my A6000 with. Like the first thing I did, and like when I started getting money for jobs, is like new cameras, new gear. Like I just threw it back into it, and kind of reinvested it. So naturally, like I was always buying new gear. Like I said, I bought 3 cameras in the first like 3 to 6 months. I don't know.
So what were you shooting your weddings with?
Well,
the very first camera.
See, I didn't start weddings till like damn near a year later after I started my business.
But you were shooting those with A6000?
A6300.
A60, okay.
No, I actually shot my first 2 weddings with A6000, actually.
Man, I remember I'll never forget, I was scrolling through Facebook, and I just started seeing these wedding videos, like people posting them and reposting them. I was like, man, this wedding video got a lot of shares.
Yeah.
And then so I watched it, I was like, man, this is dope. Like, this is amazing work. And it's funny because it's something that other, videographers have told me, like, you just need reps. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, same thing I was telling Bakar. Bakar's like, yeah, I want to do it. I was like, bro, you just need reps. The best way to do this is to record as much as you can, get in wherever you can, kind of like what you did.
Yeah.
But then
the secret is reps.
Correct. But then after a while for you, I mean, let's talk about you leaving Wichita and then going to LA. That's a big move.
Yeah.
You're going to where they shoot movies at, bro.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
Well, I'll go a little bit back before that.
Okay.
I will say, like, to touch on what you said, I feel like that is why I was able to do everything I did was, so for the first like year, I was here shooting like professionally for maybe 2 years before I left.
But you only stayed in college for a little bit.
Yeah. So when I was in college while I was in high school. Correct. And then when I finished high school, I was like, nope, and dropped out. Because it was, I mean, it was literally a joke because I was starting my business about around the same time I started college.
Correct.
And there was a video class in there, and like one of the tests, and I'm not joking, I wish I was. One of the tests was to turn the camera on. That was one of the tests in the class.
Come on, guys.
Yeah,
You can do better.
Yeah, please. Like, man. So that was like that. If that gives you any kind of basis on how like low level the knowledge that was in the class was. And then I'm not joking, the second semester there was video 2, right? There's video 1, video 2. In video 2, at least one time, this might happen more than once, he assigned the same assignment from the first semester. Literally the same footage. Hey, edit this. I'm just like,
yeah, what am I paying for, man?
I literally, I'm not joking, I was walking around one by one helping the kids out because the teacher didn't teach anything. And I was like walking around showing them how to use Premiere and stuff because I was already doing it.
Yeah, you're already doing it.
Like, by that point, now there's, we could go way back. I've actually edited videos for a long time, like longer than even parkour.
Okay.
Really random side note, I used to be like really good at yo-yoing, like the yo-yos. I don't know if you, no, like I'm talking like competition level. Like,
for real?
Yeah, like I actually wanted to compete. I did some like little things, like I did some like little like talent show stuff. I was like 11. I was really young. But I was
that's crazy. I never knew that about that. That's crazy.
And well, again, that was one of those things I would film it, not because I wanted to film videos, but because it was like the thing to do.
I got you.
I would record myself, and I had like a YouTube channel back when I was like 11, 12. And I'm assuming that's what it was. I might've been younger, to be honest. I think I stopped around 11 or 12. I only did it for like a year and a half. But again, that same tunnel vision energy, I just went ham on it. Like, I don't want to drag that story out because it's kind of long, but basically we had a guy come to our school when I was in like elementary school and was like teaching people for like a week in gym class. That was like the thing we did. And he was like selling yo-yos. Well, I got one and sucked at it. I was awful. Yeah. And some people kind of got good. Then winter break hit. I kept going though. I kept hitting it. I kept hitting it. I come back and I'm a fucking beast compared to everybody else. Like everybody else is like, what is wrong with you? Like I literally, I remember legitimately.
What is he on?
No, I remember a girl asking me, she's like, what the hell? Like, why? Like, literally, why are you that good? Because I just spent 2 months in December, like my mom joked about, you just hear the little hiss of the little ball bearing on that yo-yo all the time. And we're just going crazy. Man. And yeah, just putting the reps in. But like, so I made videos and got like, I would say like pretty like much competition level within like a year and a half of doing it. And then I made a bunch of videos. So I had like the most basic editing. I used fucking VideoPad.
I remember that.
VideoPad. I don't know if it's okay for me to swear. I don't know if it.
Go ahead, man.
I didn't know.
Say what you got to say.
Well, I was only going to say for YouTube's sake. I didn't know if you guys are where you guys are putting these. But anyway. Yeah, so I had a VideoPad video editor. Shout out that shit. That was the goat. Like that's my computer is so slow that I moved the mouse too fast and it would freeze.
Yeah, it freeze. You gotta start somewhere. You gotta start somewhere.
Cool, because it was like my parents' old laptop that they let me use, and it was like that's what I did. I edited that with that same editor up for like a year, even in the parkour video stuff too.
Wow.
And I mean, it would take me forever to get edits done because I legitimately, if I'd move the mouse too fast, it would start the
circle of death.
Anyway, sorry, I'm going a little off topic, but I say that to say like I've actually been editing a lot longer than I realized. Mm-hmm. It just, again, it wasn't for the purpose of editing. It wasn't for the purpose of video making. It was just the thing to get the job done. It was like a side thing. And then coming back to where we were, when I was in school, like I said, I've already been doing it for a long time. I was helping other people. It didn't really make sense. But I dropped out. My parents hated that, obviously, because they wanted me to get a degree and all that. But I'd had talks with too many people who actually are successful in this business who told me you don't need that. And a lot of times it was like words of encouragement of like, you specifically don't need that, clearly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, you're going to get a degree so you can make money doing the thing. I'm already making money doing the thing. Like, it doesn't make sense. So
it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, I put my reps in, literally did music videos, commercials, wedding videos. I did real estate. I literally did any job that could come my way. I didn't discriminate at all. I was literally like, whatever I can take, whatever makes me money and whatever is like more work for the portfolio, I did. Now, nowadays, I do not recommend that, obviously. But the thing is, getting started, not only does it give you a way to actually make it something you can live off of, just because there's all these streams, and they're little streams because you're not niching down at all. But again, we'll talk more about that. But for me, it just gave me, I would say beyond the video reps, what it actually taught me, what I realized is more valuable is the personal aspect of it, the business skills, what I learned from it. And it taught me, like, I would say I've developed the ability to almost be, I'd say to put it simply, like to be somewhat of a chameleon when it comes to business.
I like that. Okay.
So I mean, think about it. I'm working with artists, like rappers, bands, business owners, real estate people, wedding couples. These are very different people.
All right.
They talk differently, they act differently, they want different things. And what it really taught me is how to shift and move to be the type of person that they like want to communicate with. And that's what it really is. It's being able to shift your communication so that way you can get them what they want and then you can get what you want out of it. Like it's not in a manipulative way, but in like so I can talk the same language as you.
Absolutely.
And that's really what I think it taught me. It allowed me the people skills and mind you, I was really, really, really awkward growing up. This is not something I would have signed up for had I known how much people skills I would have had to, or like people time I would have had to put into it.
Right.
I'm thankful for it because it really pushed me out of my comfort zone. But I will say, man, like if you knew me growing up, you wouldn't even believe it. Like that you're not the same person. Like, like just straight up. But
for sure.
Anyway, I'm dragging it out. But after that, before I moved, I saved up a bunch of money, bought the Red camera. I was like,
hold on. We got to stop. I just bought the Red camera.
Hold on. We're not going to play that like that ain't nothing.
Yeah, hold on.
For y'all that don't know, you're about to know.
So let me tell you just this real quick story about the Red camera. So Thad and his parents, they invite me to Thad's high school graduation over at his house, right? Yeah. So Thad had told me before, like, man, I'm gonna get a Red, man. I'm looking at a Red right now, and and you have to. He's 17 at the time, right?
Yeah.
So like, he's like, man, I'm gonna get one one day. So, anyways, I go over there, and I said hi to the family and everything, and he's like, hey, can you come downstairs with me real quick because I believe your room was downstairs.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's fine. So we go downstairs, and he clicks on the room to his light. And there's this black box just sitting there. And I'm like, dude, you bought it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know too many 17-year-olds that own a Red.
Yeah, I was 18 when I got it. When I bought it.
Okay.
I started saving up for it I remember this pretty vividly, actually, because it was like,
that's life changing.
It really was for me at the time. Like it was September of 2016, I want to say, because I graduated 2017. So September of 2016, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like I just, for whatever reason, something possessed me.
That tunnel vision comes in.
Yeah, it came in. I just made the decision. For me, I thought it was the best decision I could ever make. I don't agree with that now, but nonetheless, it really allowed me to like learn how to really chase like goals, because obviously I was already doing stuff and already making things happen, but like that was another level, because I was like, okay, the camera's like, I think I at the time I don't think I even realized how expensive it really was, because all the pieces to get it to work is like you need more than you think you need.
Absolutely.
Like, I didn't know, so I was estimating about like I think close to $19,000, and I was like, okay, I looked at the time frame. So I put my deposit down on it, which was like $1,000, which, I mean, I think that's even a lot for most 17-year-olds to even put down $1,000.
Absolutely.
Like that was crazy to me. And I put down my $1,000 like deposit, and I knew it was going to be a long time till it actually like was delivered, because Red was on such a crazy back order. They're still kind of bad about it, but you have to understand they're a really small boutique company. Like the owner of it is the guy who made Oakley.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
He's actually the guy who made that. So he's not like this isn't Sony. Like you have to understand, Sony is a huge company.
Correct.
Red is a little boutique company, and then they're lowering their prices, their cameras. So there's just thousands of people trying to buy it. Still nothing compared to Sony, but nonetheless, they're a tiny company. And with that being said, it was like I put in my order knowing it was going to take a long time. I talked to a lot of other people who were buying them, and then I at that point, I kind of called them and was like asking them, like, can I get an estimate on like maybe when you think this is realistic and stuff? And they told me like May or so, and it was September at the time. So like, yeah. And I was like, all right, that should be enough time for me to save the money up then. Because I did the math, I divided it all up, and I was like, okay, it's this amount per month I need to make. I looked at how much money I already was making. Yeah. And was like, okay, like, I'm going to shoot for it. Like,
that's awesome, man.
Now, mind you, I want to say, like, and I had a lot of people talk to me about this, because I ended up making a video about like me doing that, right? Which is not even public anymore, because I just don't agree with most of the things I said in it now. But I had a lot of people tell me like, oh, like it's easy for you because you didn't have expenses. And you know what? That's facts. Real shit. Like that's fact.
I mean,
I didn't have expenses. So like that, I'm just saying I would have had to make like not double what I was making, but like probably 1.5 times as much to make the money that I did with expenses. Cause like my only expenses were I was paying for my car at the time. I bought a new car.
Correct.
I was paying for my car, paying for my phone, and just like little things. But I didn't have rent. I didn't have any other actual bills.
Yeah, but still.
But they can't take away from your work, bro. I don't care what they say. They can't take away from your work.
And I agree, obviously. I mean, I did the thing, and I'm not gonna put that down. But I will say that helped a lot.
Absolutely.
All I'm saying is like nowadays, if I wanted to do that, it'd be a different ball game. You know, like it'd be a lot harder. But anyway. So I saved up from there. It was like 7 months, I think it was. And then it was March. I got a phone call that it was like ready and everything. And I think I pretty much had all the money together by that point.
Yeah.
And I mean, hell, it was a crazy time doing that because I mean, I was in high school. I was also going to college at the same time. I even was in a relationship at the time.
Yeah. You had a lot going on.
I had like way too much going on. And then I'm like literally starting a business and I just killed myself during that time. I was going so hard, like literally just like any waking moment that I wasn't at school. I can't even say just when I wasn't at school. I'd be in class editing these videos. My science teacher come up to me, what the hell are you doing? Like I'm like nothing. I'm editing videos of people pointing guns at the camera. And shit. Like I'm not even joking. They come up, you're like, what the hell are you doing? I'm surprised I didn't get in trouble. But in college especially, I was editing and stuff in class because, I mean, I remember when I first started. This is a little side note. I didn't have a good laptop, but I had my desktop at home and I had TeamViewer, like the remote control. So I was remote controlling my computer at home editing.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah. That's dope, bro.
It was slow as hell. It wasn't efficient.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. But yeah, and that's what it was. It was just like working from nothing, just buying everything I can to make it happen.
Absolutely.
And just doing everything I could. But.
So when you move out to LA, right? What major, because some people might not know this, what major artists have you shot for? And I might not know them all either. I think I've watched like every single music video of yours,
it's like I've worked with some pretty decent sized artists.
Okay.
But I also, not to denote it, but a lot of it was like features with other artists. Like, and that's the thing. It's so easy to like front. Oh, I know, because everybody in Hollywood, I know this person. I did this just because they have a picture with them,
right?
Or something. Like people like to lie about it, and I'm not personally, like after living in LA, I just don't agree with that kind of thing because it's like it makes people think you're higher than you actually are, and then when you actually get to the point where you tell everybody you were, you're not even happy about it. No one's happy about it. Right. Like it's just not truthful. But anyway, I mean, the artists I did get to work with. Trippie Redd probably being the biggest. OT Genesis, Hobson, who else? Those are the top. Those are the ones that pop in my brain right away. There might have been some other little encounters with people, but those are the like top ones. For me, the Hobson one was the coolest because I was a big Hobson fan back in the day.
Absolutely.
Like I remember me and my homie were looking at like watching his music videos on our way to college, and then like literally 2 years later, I was shooting a video with him, and I was like,
that's awesome.
This is crazy. So like I'm not a huge Hobson fan nowadays, but like that was awesome to me at the time. Like
I am.
I listen. Cool. He's dope. I think he's not my style of music anymore.
Understand?
But like but he's dope, and he was a really good dude. Like real nice guy.
I heard that Hobson, and we're just gonna just shine. You know, let's talk about him. This is just what I've heard. From what I've seen, I heard that he's really, really involved in his videos.
Extremely.
Like he actually like directs it, and hey, this is what I want, and da 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 da.
I think he actually edits them too. He chops them.
Oh, he does everything.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hey.
There's actually more artists.
Shout out to Hobson, man.
Yeah, shout out Hobson for real. There's actually more artists that do that than you think, though. I know there's a few other that do it. I'm just trying to remember who. I've heard a few like bigger artists that actually at least cut the video. Like they don't probably do VFX and color and all that kind of stuff. Like,
craziness.
They put the like timeline together though. I know Hobson does. That was someone.
Wow.
I mean, not huge artist yet. But Damien does now. Damien does
Styles.
too. Damien uses Premiere and cuts a video and everything.
What? Damien.
I edited this most recent one. It's probably coming out on the 17th, I think it is.
Okay.
I edited that video, but he was planning on doing it. Like it was just like he's moved to LA and all that. Anyway,
that's awesome,
videos. Man. But anyway, going way back. But yeah, I worked with a couple big artists. And that's the thing. Like a lot of it was. I will say most of it was working with Dax, and then he'd have a feature with a bigger artist, and that was how I worked with them. Like it wasn't that artist being like, yo, I love your work, I want to work with you. Now, Hobson's manager did reach out to me after we did that project and then wanted to do some stuff, and then I've never heard from him again type thing. So I had some contact from people like that, but like I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I did a music video for Hobson, they contacted me for that, or OT Genesis and all that. A lot of it was just like feature stuff.
Yeah.
Same way with the Trippy Red one, like it was Rari, an artist we worked with. He had a feature with him, but it's still really cool meeting. Like I'm a fan of Trippy Red, so like meeting him, he was really cool. Like
awesome.
Most of the artists that we met, like that were up there, were actually really nice people, super just like down to earth. You could just talk to them like a normal person. So that was cool to me because like you'd think a lot of them would be like really, really up in their high horse kind of thing.
Maybe.
Oh, I met the game too. We were introducing stuff for the game. We were supposed to shoot a documentary for him, and I don't even know what happened with that. But I have a hilarious story to do with the game.
Come on,
I don't know if I want to tell it because I haven't told any. I've never publicly told this story, but I told this to my homies. It's hilarious, bro. It's so funny.
Let's go.
Now, tell it. Heard it first. Humble greatness.
You said it.
The game doesn't even know. So if he sees this, don't kill me, please. Don't kill me. I didn't know. Okay. All right.
Don't kill me either.
Yeah. Please don't kill anyone involved. Don't kill the people I love. So, okay. Long story short, Jacob was at the studio.
Jacob Clark.
Yeah. Shout out Jake. Jake was at the studio with the game's like security guard guy, like or something like that. He's like head of security. He'd met him through something, and then they invited me out. So I get there, and everybody's eating, right? So food and everything out. And so his head of security dude walks me out. I go, yo, bro, grab some food. Make yourself at home. We got curry. We got all this stuff. Walks me around all the food. I'm like, okay. So I get a plate and go get food, as he told me.
Yeah,
to do,
absolutely.
Right? Sitting there eating, everything's cool, and then I finish eating. Put my plate in the sink, wash it off. And I'm sitting here, and then about 5 minutes later, we're in the middle of a conversation talking about this documentary about the game and everything. And this lady walks in and starts screaming. And she goes, hey, who ate this food?
Oh.
Who ate this food?
No, bro.
This is food for the game and his crew. And I'm like, I'm sitting here. Not moving. That head of security dudes looking at me. Everybody else me and Jake are looking at each other. We're not moving.
Say anything.
Yeah, we were like, my heart's like, I'm over here thinking I'm about to get killed. And he's like, this lady's yelling, and then like his creative director dude was there, like looking around. He's like, who ate this food? Just kept asking, hey, who ate this food? Kept asking me, and they're looking around. They didn't like look at me directly or anything. And like the funny thing was, like, going back on it, the garlic bread or whatever like wasn't cooked yet because they weren't done. And I was like confused, like, why the hell isn't this cooked? This is all confusing. I'm just eating this food, not thinking much of it. Literally, he told me what to eat. He's watching me eat it. No one said anything. And then after they come in, they're yelling and shit. They're like, this was for the game, and then his producer, blah 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 blah. Apparently, I was only supposed to eat one of the types of food, but. And Jake even was like, yeah, you were supposed to eat that. I'm like,
my boy went in.
See,
yeah,
that's what happens when you have bad information.
Yeah. So that happens, right? And then they're asking, and I'm sitting here probably redder than fucking Clifford over here. I'm like, and no one says anything. Thankfully, no one said anything. They just walked away. They were just pissed about it, and they leave. And no one. We never talked about it. Like the head of security guys
just came in.
We all just looked, and we were just like. And then I met the game like 10-15 minutes later, and he's already the game. He's already like 8'9". Yeah. He's huge. This dude is huge built, and he walks in, and like his head of security dude was like introducing us to him, and he turns and looks, he just shakes my hand like he knew,
like he knew,
and I was like, I'm so sorry.
Wow, your face red.
I was like. He was already scary, but I was like, "Oh shit! I just ate this."
He smelled the food, bro. He smelled the food out of his mouth,
bro. And I'm telling you, like, there's more detail that goes in that story. But the point being, like,
bro.
That's just like I ate the game's food. Like, I'm saying, bro, it's such a funny story. At the time, it was like the most embarrassing thing ever. But now, looking back on it, I'm like, yo, that's hilarious.
That is hilarious,
like,
man.
I had no idea.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I hope he doesn't see that so he doesn't kill me. But anyway.
So now let's fast forward, man. You're back in Wichita now, right? Correct.
Right. Yeah, I'm now, yeah.
So then what's the move for Swift Productions?
Well.
Or can you speak on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, I want to go backwards a little bit. one, what really catapulted everything in the music video side was working with Dax. Like, I think that's something we should talk about as well. Like,
absolutely, let's talk about
that's huge. Like, long story short, was doing poetry, like spoken word poetry videos.
Yeah, because that's how we started.
He wasn't a rapper. He literally
when I met him, that's what he was. Yeah. That's what he was on.
Did poetry, and he even told me and Clyde specifically. He said, "I'm never doing music. I'm not gonna be a rapper." That's what he told me. Now go look at this dude. Millions of followers.
Yeah. Come on, now.
Huge rapper, right? So anyway, he told me that I was already doing music videos for people, and he was like, "Okay, we're gonna try this like half spoken word poetry, half like music thing."
Yeah,
and it was like the
one takes, right?
It was like the Drake one dance. We did do one takes, but that first one we did it was like a Drake one dance remix.
Okay.
It was like half spoken word poetry and half music, and he got some pretty good good views, pretty good like feedback, and we were like, he's like, "Yo, maybe I should do this music thing." I'm like, "Yeah, what we've been saying," but and he did another he just did a lot of like remixes at the beginning.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Which that really worked for him. And then we did a few more. I was just doing his music videos, doing everything else, and then he did like a Timmy Turner remix, like Designer.
Yeah,
Hillary Clinton during the election. And that's the thing, man.
That one blew up.
That was the first million.
That was the first million.
The first million views on the video I done, which was lit. But that's the thing I want to say, like, people don't give Dax enough credit for how genius of a marketer he is. That's the reason why he is where he is because he's an incredible marketer. One, because he's smart and he really he was like, okay, election's going on, Timothy Turner's big. Like, he just puts it together, time and place for it. But also, his work ethic is nuts. This dude, like, even up to the point where when I stopped working with him, on his phone, texting people, replying to people, he just always he's always engaged, man.
The
reason why he even got the start was because he would just literally, physically, personally message everybody. He'd go through and message a fucking 100 people a day, send them out, "Hey, I just made this video, go check this out." Like,
shout out to Dax.
Yeah, shout out, for real, shout out Dax. Like, he as an artist, a lot of people have a lot to say about him as an artist, but I really feel like you can't knock his like work ethic and his ability to market. It's incredible. Like, it's next level. That's really the reason why he's as big as he is. Like, so. Fast forwarding, I did just kept doing music videos for him. We were doing like at one point like 10 a week. We did 4 in a day.
Golly.
I was shooting them for real cheap, like $50 a video. Like, I was just putting the time in, putting the work in, getting our reps, and things were growing, and it was just stacking up really fast. He was growing quick. And then we visited LA in August of 2017. So I just graduated high school. It was my summer there, and we went to visit LA. We shot the I Want video and then the Snapchat music video. And the I Want was sick because I think it was his first.
I Want was the one on the beach.
That's a really good video. And
that is a great video.
Very
and I remember, I think you might have sent that to me.
I think I sent it to you before it came out.
Yeah, before it came out, it was like, man, what do you think? And I watched it like 10 times, like in a row. Cause I was like, yo, I remember just watching and being like, this is it. Like this is the one.
Yeah.
Because the song was extremely catchy. The visual was amazing. And I was like, yo, when they come out with this, it's game over. And that's what happened.
Well, really, that was the first, his original song to hit a million.
Correct.
That was his first original song to hit a million. Because we had all these remixes that would blow up, but like it didn't feel like it counted. Like, for like in our opinion, we were like, okay, like it's cool, but it's not like the thing we're trying to do.
I got you.
That song was catchy. The video is huge. And another big thing about that video, that was the first video that I did a script on, that I did like a shot list and like all the planning stuff. Normally it was just run and gun. Well, me and Clyde worked on this script, planning it out, producing it. Like, we really like went in depth on it.
Okay.
We had this whole storyline, and then we went out to LA and shot. Like, I mean, it was like 3-4 days of shooting in LA, 3-4 days of shooting in Wichita. Like, it was a big project for us.
Yeah. And
then seeing it on paper, we're like, yo, this turned from this script into an actual video. Like, it was really close to being exactly what we wrote down. We're like, yo, this is crazy. Like, it was, for me, that's one of the most fulfilling things I got. Like, that was one of my favorite videos to this day.
That video's dope.
It was just location and story. Everything was just sick to me. And it was a cool experience, like, being out in LA. Like, I was out there, and I like ran out of business cards within a few days. People are coming up to me every day, yo, like, I want work. And like, I'm just like, man, I think I need to be here. Like, I kind of realized really quickly, and you know, you're from Kansas, you go out to LA, and there's like the weather and the
everything,
and,
everything.
There's the everything, yeah. So it was like, I was like, man, I need to be here. So I remember we finished all these projects, and a couple months later, after we finished it, I remember talking to my parents. I was like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna move to LA," and they're like, "What?" And they're like, "I'm like, yeah." I was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna move to LA." And I don't know, man. I just that's me for you, like in a nutshell. I'm just when I get my mind set on something, I'm just gonna make it happen. And
Absolutely.
I think everyone could use that. Like if you can just tell yourself, "Hey, I'm gonna do this thing," and even if you don't end up doing it, if you put in the steps to do so, you're gonna gain something from it.
Right.
Like if it was saving up a bunch of money to move and you don't move, now you got money. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could add in a little small nugget there that I haven't really talked about either. I lost a bunch of money right before I moved. Which, long story short, there was some miscommunication on some wedding stuff. To where they moved the date and like didn't tell me, and a bunch of stuff happened, and I refunded them, of course, and it was, the whole situation was kind of a mess, but like it ended up being like, I don't even want to talk too much about it because I don't want to throw blame onto other people, because there was a lot of people who like, this person didn't tell one person the thing, and then it was just a big chain reaction. I don't care to point fingers, it just is what it is. But so I lost a pretty good chunk of money, and then had to move to Los Angeles. So, and that's something I haven't talked a lot about either. It's like, I just was like, I'm moving. Like I'm moving there, and like
that tunnel vision kicking in.
Yeah, like I was like, nah,
that's what I'm gonna do.
I'm leaving. And I left at the end of January. So again, that was not even a year after I graduated. I graduated in May. I left by January. He was like, visited in September, October decided, January I was gone.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a big, I'm gonna wait 2 years to save up a bunch of money, and I was just like, no, I'm going regardless. When I moved there, I, like, no joke, had enough money to cover the security deposit for where I was staying, the first month's rent, my like stuff that I needed for the house, and that's pretty much it. Like after the first month, I was broke, like, straight up. Like I haven't talked a lot about that, but like that was a new feeling of pressure that I'd never experienced. I lived with my parents, and then I'm like, yo, my rent's $1,000.
Yeah.
My bills, all these things, like I'm like, I don't know, I maybe needed minimum $2,000, whatever. This is the first place. It got more expensive over time. And I was like, yo, I have to do videos or I'm gonna die. Like that was how in my brain I saw it. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, because for me, that's how it's always been. It's like I'm either gonna succeed doing this or I'm gonna die. There's no other like way.
Yeah, there's no other option.
I was like, I'm not going to get a job. I'm not going to do any of this other stuff. Like I'm just gonna have to shoot videos or I'm gonna die. Like that was how I saw it.
Yeah.
So it lit a crazy fire under my ass. I was like, yo, I gotta go. And I don't even remember like what I did to get work, because I just busted my ass, and like I didn't know anybody. Here's another little thing.
Yeah.
I haven't told a lot of people this. Dax moved out there, and like he was planning on moving out there. I didn't move because of him. He wanted to move, and I was like, yo, that's a good idea. I should too. I didn't work with him for like 3 months. Once I got there, for like 3 months.
I got you.
So it's not like I was like being funded by him. I had to like figure it out from other people. I just managed to talk to enough people, hitting people up, and then I think I did a project with like a 3-song project with artist named Milo. Shout out to Milo.
Okay.
And I just, a few things that just came up, but it was just like I don't even know. Like looking back on it, I'm like, I don't know how I made that happen. Like shit, that was just crazy. And it was a very interesting experience, because like I had grown up in literally the same town my entire life for 19 years, knew the same people, same things all the time, and then I moved to Los Angeles. From literally tiny Valley Center, Kansas to Los Angeles. And I was like, oh, I don't have any forced social interaction because I run my own business. And I became super nocturnal and was like literally sleeping. I go to sleep at like 9 a.m. and sleep through the day, and then edit all day. And just, it was just a mess, man. I will tell you, like, that was a dark time for me. I was like just going hard, and then like had no social interaction beyond my roommates and stuff. Like that was like the real like grind. Like that was another level of like, I don't even know. Like LA was crazy. Like it was.
So how old are you when you go out to LA?
I was 19. Yeah, I was 19. So
that's amazing to me, bro. Like the thing about you, man, it's always been, of course, your work ethic and your work, you know what I mean? Because now, you know, that I shoot videos, I understand a lot more stuff, you know? You really don't understand this until you're in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you've experienced that too.
Until you're really in it. So
I was just crying this morning.
Yeah. He called me, he was like, bro, we got to talk,
I'm
man.
mad.
This. I said, man, I understand. And the certain patience level that you have, and always keeping it professional, and it's tough because at the end of the day, you're human, bro.
Yeah.
You're not a machine.
Yeah.
and you love what you do.
Right.
So when you love what you do, usually people turn into a machine.
Yeah.
Like, man, I can just grind this out and just do it.
Yeah.
But eventually there comes a point where it's like, all right, I'm human. I need to slow down, or I'm human. I need to rest. But just you being young and going out there and chasing your dream, and there's nobody out there that you know.
Yeah, literally nobody. And who I moved in with was my friend Caleb Zook. The thing is, that's like one of my best friends now. Like, such a good dude. I barely knew him. He was from here. He moved out there 6 months before me. I worked with him for a month. I worked at this company called Clutch Studios for like a month.
Yep.
Barely knew the guy. Literally outside of that, had seen him one time. Like outside of that, I barely knew the guy. He just was a good dude and did video.
Yeah.
So I hit him up because everyone else, like, not to bag on anyone, everyone else, like a bunch of my friends, were gonna all move. We're all going to LA. I was the only one that moved.
Yeah.
It was just me.
That's
like,
a tough decision.
Yeah, and I was just, like, I'm
Absolutely.
going. And like, granted, I don't like back then. I was like, oh, what? Nobody's gonna come with me. Now looking back, I'm like, I'm glad no one came with me because like, it was like
It'd been different.
It was low key a dumb decision, but like I'm glad I did it. If that makes sense. Like, it was worth it. You know, you got to kind of send it sometimes. But anyway, but yeah, I moved out there. Barely even knew Caleb. Like Caleb was, we barely knew each other. Honestly, we moved in together, and then I had two Calebs actually, and then the other Caleb, Caleb. So there's Caleb Zook, who's our, he's like expert lighting, like everything lighting. This man is an expert. This is the reason why I know so much about lighting is because of him.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's like he did like grip and gaffing kind of work as like his day job, like that's what he would do. But he's an incredible director as well. Like dude's another level of like work, like his work ethic and all that. He's crazy. And then Caleb Milby, who's an actor, and he's from here as
Gotcha.
well, and he's actually done some cool stuff. So I moved in with these guys. I didn't know Caleb. I met Caleb one time, and then he moved in with us. So I literally didn't know these guys at all. And it was just, I didn't know anybody out there in LA. Dax is the only person I knew, and obviously I didn't see him a lot outside of, working and stuff. So yeah, I didn't know anybody. And actually something I wanted to talk about too, which I feel like is huge for people getting into this, is the thing you just said about the whole like being a machine thing.
Yeah, come on.
Because something that I learned from LA, because like I went hard for like 2 years straight.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking nonstop. I didn't give myself no breaks. My parents would tell me multiple times like, hey, you should probably like, hang out with people or like, relax a little bit sometimes. And I was just like, no. And I was just like, I'm good.
I gotta work. I gotta get it. Yeah.
And you know how it is. Like, you're just in it. You just want to keep going.
Zoned out.
And it was cool. I'm glad I did that. It really, like, I think projected me faster.
For
But
sure.
excuse me. Looking back on it, when I got to LA, I'd say less than 6 months in, I was so burnt out.
Yeah.
Because I've been going hard for 2.5 years. And I remember talking to like a friend of mine at the time. I was like, yo, I haven't taken a break in like 2 years. Because what I would do is I would put like 10 things on my plate. And then whenever I got maybe like
Half
five,
done,
halfway
more
done,
on
put
there.
5 more, put 10 more.
Yeah.
It was a never ending like onslaught of work, which is great, as far as like
Building the
making money,
business.
building
Yeah,
business,
for
but
sure.
as far as like mental sanity, awful. And I didn't understand it at all. And that's just because again, my expertise was in video.
Yeah.
Now I've shifted in the last year, 2 years into business, and it's a very different world. But we'll talk more about that in a second. But on the aspect of like being burnt out and like not like balancing things out, the thing I really learned from it is like you're not more productive by working all the time. Like you're really not.
Yeah.
You're actually not productive that often. Like being honest, you have to like be honest with yourself. Like how much work am I actually getting done? Like in a day.
Correct.
Because like now, don't get me wrong. I was like notorious for this within from my friends. Something I used to do, and this is crazy to me now. I used to edit for multiple days on end, like no sleep. No.
You did.
Yeah,
You
like,
did.
Like I have
You did.
my I would call it a record, but I would not say not something to aspire to. I think I stay awake for like I want to say 60 hours.
Wow.
It was it's and usually what that came down to, and the reason why that happened wasn't just because I was an absolute demon. Oh, I was a demon, but like the reality of it was I'd do too much work and then I'd have deadlines and I'd have to cram them. It's like school on crack, it was bad, but it was money on the line, so it was different. And I edited for 2 days to finish this video. I finished the video.
Okay.
It's like 10 a.m. and then I have to go to a shoot out in LA. And I had to go to a shoot. And I'm literally 2 days no sleep. Go to a shoot, and I'm telling you, like this is a lesson for everybody on just in general in life. You need sleep. Like it's literally so important.
Come on, man. Yeah, you got to refuel yourself. Absolutely.
I'm not joking. So I was on that job. I normally direct and shoot. I was just like a DP. I was just shooting, right? Just worried about the lights and stuff. Bro, I'm not joking. I literally went on autopilot. We'd finish a take and I go, what just happened? Like I literally would not realize what was happening. I was so tired and so exhausted. I became like delirious.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
remember we were shooting this video. And it was like, we were like down in Compton, like guns pointing at the camera and stuff. I remember
Let's go.
You need to be on your P's and Q's.
right where you would need to be. And then like we had like people were driving by, stopping, and people were like come out of the house like, yo, you guys can come inside right now. Like it was like we were working with an artist who was like heavily gang affiliated, and and I didn't think anything of it. I was so delirious that I literally go to Jacob. I go, hey, what's going on? And I just wasn't thinking. And he was like, I mean, this artist is like, he's in there. Like I'm like, okay. And in my mind, I literally was like, well, if I'm gonna get shot, now would be a good time to do it, because I was so just like numbed
Just
out,
done,
and just like,
bro, just
man,
done.
it's weird, because if you go long times without sleep, you go through these waves. You get a lot of energy actually.
Correct.
Times in because your circadian is it circadian rhythm? I think it is.
I don't know what it's called, but I call it like
you know what I'm talking about.
It's like the instant energy
cycles.
system, whatever that is called.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing. I would do those long no sleep periods also without eating. I wouldn't
Bro,
eat.
what?
It was just.
That's all bad.
It's all sorts of bad. I used to do stuff like that, and I would just go ham, and like I was pretty productive too. Like I'm talking when I say like 40, I would edit for 40 hours. I'd bust
That's
out whole
crazy.
videos going ham the whole time. And I mean, there's definitely, I'm sure there was a lot of like in betweens, but at the same time, I would like not break focus for 3-4 hours at a time.
Oh, wow.
And that's when you get in that like that flow
Yeah,
state where you're just
the zone.
click. And
In
it was
the
just,
zone. I'm not answering my phone. I'm in there.
yeah,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I'd just be going ham, and then you just crash for 12, 14 hours after. It's just all sorts of bad. Just don't do it. I'm just telling you right now, how I live now is like so much more sustainable. Like that's what I had to learn in the last few years, is how to be sustainable and like long term with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And also like how to, want to actually enjoy being alive, because it was like just brutal doing that.
For sure.
But yeah, I used to do crazy long editing sessions, and just I wouldn't sleep. And man, I like looking back on it now, I don't know how I functioned, because sleep is literally like so important. Like it helps your brain function, your mood,
Absolutely.
all this other stuff. Yeah, that was crazy. But anyway,
You live and you learn.
100%.
And you grow.
And I think a lot of people like put themselves through that when they're young, like in college and stuff.
They
like
do.
That. But I mean, it was to an extreme level. Like when I say an extreme level, like when I graduated high school, most people would be like, okay, I don't have school anymore, so I have more time, right? I was like, yeah. Well, here's what I said. I was like, oh, I got more time to work.
Yeah, that's how I was too. I remember sitting in college and I was like, I can't wait to be done with college so I can really do what I want to do.
Right. That's such a joke.
I remember that.
Such a joke.
But we're in the entertainment business, so like you learn from relationships,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I always tell people, and Bakari knows this, man, your relationships will take you farther than your talent ever will. That's just how it is. It's business.
Your network's your net worth.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, man, just like, okay, I'm learning something, but this isn't really what I want to do. Like, I feel like it's hard to ask a 17-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? I feel like that's hard.
I don't think that's smart at all.
You locked it in at an early age, but typically, like, I don't know. So then everybody goes to college. Why? Because that's what your friends are going to do. Or that's what we're told to do. So, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I actually kind of have an opinion on that too. What I did, and I've said this to many people before, I don't think, or I don't know if what I'm doing right now is the thing that I'm going to always do. Like, I don't know. I think the reality of it is I'm open to the fact that it actually has been changing. And we'll talk more about that. But like, the thing is, my opinion, and I already said this, is you find something that works, you run with it, no matter what it is. And if you find out you hate it, well, it's okay, because you're gonna develop skills. So the most valuable thing you can gain is skills, because skills are something that not only generate money, but you can pass skills off to people.
Absolutely.
It's something that people can't take away from you. Your business will crash, but your skills will stay the same. And,
Correct.
And that's why I would recommend because I found something that worked, and then was like, I just ran with it. But I think this is just normal for anyone. I constantly would question. I'd have all these moments where I'm like, yo, is this what I want to do?
Yeah.
And I think that's totally normal. I talked to a lot of creative people, and I told them, I said, having a doubt in like what you're doing and stuff is totally normal and okay. Like you shouldn't be worried about it, because some people are like, yo, if I don't love this all the time, maybe it's not for me. That's not life, true. Bro. The whole like, I don't agree with the whole if it's what you love, that it's not never gonna be work. That's not true.
You're right.
It's work. It is work, and that's okay. This whole idea and like.
There's gonna be
all this like lovey-dovey, like everything's perfect.
Yeah, there's gonna be things
that's not how life is.
You're right. There's gonna be things that you don't like. Like for instance, let's just go back to great basketball players, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Like, yeah, they're great, right?
Did you have to worry about 30-minute time limits on those at all?
Nah, they're good. Okay. But they're great. But you still gotta practice. You still gotta put the work in and all that other stuff. You're not always gonna want to practice.
Y'all gonna have to excuse me. This is how business go. I have to pick up this call.
All right, hold on.
Important.
Yeah, we can take a break a second.
You good? Go ahead. Right. Go ahead. You're just not gonna like everything 100% of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
But that's that. I mean, people need to understand like that's okay.
Yeah, I think
like that's normal.
It's. And if you understand it's okay, then you're not gonna be all upset about the fact that like, oh, I don't love this and stuff. The things that you don't like, a lot of times are necessary to move forward. And I think that people don't like allow themselves to do the things they don't like. Now, at the same time, I think as a business, as a business owner, if you are finding all the things you don't like, you also don't have to do everything.
Absolutely.
You can hire people and all that, but it's more about understanding how it works. Now, a thing I've learned.
Yep. Go ahead.
If you're not good at something, that's usually why you don't like it. It's because you're not good at it.
You're right.
Occasionally, you'll find those things that you're really good at and you hate it. Because it happens, but oftentimes it's more so it's from other things. But I just think it's that people don't allow themselves to be bad at things, if that makes sense. Like you can enjoy things if you actually get good at it. And if you do get good at it and you still don't enjoy it, hand it to someone who not only enjoys it but excels in it.
Absolutely.
And that's a business lesson I had to learn. Is like
you can't do everything.
You can't.
You can't, bro. You just can't.
And the saying, jack of all trades, master of none. It's a real thing. I personally believe starting out, going towards the like jack of all trades side of things is important, just so it gives you a foundation, because you need have a bit of a base to stand on.
Yeah.
I also believe that I forget who it was who talked about this specifically. I follow a lot of I follow a few people who are just astronomically richer than me and where I want to be in
Absolutely,
life.
I do too.
And I think everyone should. If you should be listening to people who actually do and make the money you want to make,
for sure,
instead of people who don't, because they don't obviously know what they're doing. I think that I hear a lot about is that if you want to run a business, you need to understand how each section works,
for sure,
at least enough to be able to communicate with the person in that section, so that way you can get what you want.
Yeah,
and so that person can actually trust what you're saying and actually have respect for you. Because if I hired you, for instance, to shoot some video for me, if I was I owned a production company and I didn't actually know how to run a camera, it would be hard for you to really care about what I'm saying, and B, even respect the fact that it wouldn't make sense.
Right. And
that's why I think at the beginning I did so much of everything to understand, hey, I have 25% of the knowledge, enough to get over the hump to where I can now communicate with anyone.
Right.
So I put myself through. I still to this day am learning new stuff. I think that's a never-ending process. But
for sure,
I have tried pretty much everything as far as at least in the music video world. I've done a little bit of everything. I even dove into VFX a couple of years ago when I was doing stuff for AK and everything.
Because you made that. VFX, I know what video you're talking about. I was like, how did you even do this?
And literally what I told him, I said, hey, I'm gonna do a 3D world, a 3D city as the intro. I'd never used 3D before. I literally had no clue. But again, I said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And I went out, figured it out, made myself learn to do it. That was one of those 50-hour sessions, of course.
Absolutely.
But I learned it. And now, here's the thing. It was awesome. I actually thought it was super fun. It was super cool. I don't touch that stuff anymore, because it was so time consuming.
It is, bro.
I'm like, bro, if I took the hours that I put in on that and then divided it up for the amount of money I made, I was like,
it's not even worth it.
It's a quarter of minimum wage, maybe. It's not.
Yeah.
It's actually
well, let me say, it's not monetarily worth it. It's worth it because you know how, but money in a lot of things that we do in this business, money wise, is you're just trying to get the knowledge and the skill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's part of it for sure.
And that's just sacrifice.
But you also got to know there's also a line there though. There's a certain amount of time after it where you got to think more on it. But yeah, basically to end that thought of just saying like you need to know enough about it so that way you can actually communicate with people. Like if you want to hire someone to do it, like for me for VFX, I know enough. Like I just did a project. It was a full blue screen, everything VFX, and I hired a VFX artist. Shout out to Kyle. He went crazy on it. Knows way more than me. He actually has expertise in that field. That's what he does. Awesome. So the thing is, he was able to do way more than I can do on it. I was still able to get what I want because I know how things work.
Yeah.
He was able to sent me files, and I even worked on stuff. I did some of the compositing, which basically just making person match the background.
Yep.
I did the compositing on it because I've done it before. I know how to do that. And we were able to go back and forth. I was able to say, hey, I need to change this. I need to change that. Like this is, and I could tell him why and how. And I was even able to show him a few things. There's some little things that I'd found from my thing I'd worked. And then he showed me a bunch. And it's like having that communication because I know enough about it.
For sure.
Am I an expert in it? Absolutely not. But I have enough information to communicate. I think that's the key.
Absolutely.
Like with anything business, you just need to understand it.
So this is what we're going to do, man. I love my boy Thad, man. We could be here for 20, 30, 50 hours talking to y'all about what's really going on. My phone is going crazy
Mine's
right now.
dinging too.
So what we going to do, man, we love y'all. We're actually going to cut this episode. Man, we'll probably have Thad back, man, because there's a lot of information and a lot of stories that this guy has, man, that I believe you guys can benefit from. Knowledge for sure. So, man, we're going to give it up for Mr. Thad Swift in the building.
Appreciate you guys for having me on.
Thank you so much, man, for your time. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Go ahead, click that subscribe button below. Humble Greatness Studios. Y'all take care.
Yeah, shout out Humble Greatness.
We out.